Hello everybody, welcome back to Black Thistle Forge. I thought I'd make a short video on how I personally heat treat spring steel. This is information that you can find at Knife Steel Nerds or New Jersey Steel Baron, but this is just what I do. Now this axe is like the previous one. Its body is made from mild steel. You can kind of see the edge of the forge weld where the spring steel was welded in. The spring steel came from a new leaf from a semi truck, or lorry as they call them in Europe. And then actually you can't see it, but running through here is a piece of Damascus steel that was a bit from a failed axe, and it's 64 layer Damascus, and it's high carbon, and it's put in there to help facilitate the forge weld in the mild steel. So I've already got this forged out, pre-ground, ready to go, and I'm just gonna show you my process on how I do the normalization and heat treating. Now first, I've already done one normalization cycle at 1600 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 870 degrees Celsius. The second one I'm going to do will be at 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I'll do a third one at 1350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now mind you, between each one the steel will air cool in as still of air as I can have here. Then we'll be doing the austenitizing or the hardening, which, since it's spring steel, which is 5160 or a similar alloy, we'll be treating it as if it were 5160. And depending on your sources, you can heat it up from anywhere from 465 degrees to 525 degrees Fahrenheit. That'd be 801 degrees Celsius to 830 degrees Celsius. And you let it soak for anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. I will be doing a 10-minute soak. You know, those times depend on how thick your steel is. And then you quench it immediately in oil. A lot of people will tell you to use Parks 50 or some other fast quench, which you can do. You can also use a medium speed oil, because 5160 is a deep hardening steel and it hardens just fine in a medium quench oil. You can also use warm canola oil, which I will be using, and I'll show you how I warm it by using a giant rock drill bit that I had from a previous job. And then you immediately throw it into temper between 375 degrees Fahrenheit to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can let it soak for 1 to 2 hours, let it air cool or cool it under tap water, and you repeat it again. And you inspect your temper colors, and anything from a light straw to a dark bronze is okay. And if you do that, it usually results in a hardness of 58.5 to 59.5 on your RC scale, which is just perfect for axes. So I will get the forge fired up, and we will go through the normalizing and the hardening. And you don't have to watch for 2 to 4 hours of tempering, so we just won't film that. If you like what we're putting out, like and subscribe. Thanks again for stopping by. Okay, it's been a couple days. Let's talk about this axe. It's been hardened, tempered, and all the forge scale has been knocked off. I think it's turned out pretty good. There's no catastrophic, nothing catastrophic happened to it. It didn't blow up. What I'm thinking of doing now is leaving the sides as is. I'm really kind of liking how the artifacts from the forging and the forge welding and the forge scale is looking on it. It's not perfect. You can see where I couldn't get this completely blended in. Shows up on both sides. Here, let me get that. Shows up on both sides here. But I'm kind of digging it. I kind of like how you get this rougher texture that makes it look older than what it actually is. So what I'm thinking of doing is leaving the sides as is and then polishing up all of these edges. All of this. It should match the grind on the front. So the very edges, I think it looked kind of interesting to have them polished up, and it's hard to see in the camera, but you can really see where the bit was forge welded in and where the high carbon 64 layer Damascus wedge was forge welded in right there. Shows up on both sides. So maybe polishing it up will make that stand out a tiny bit without having to etch it. But that's how it's ended up. I think it's been a successful heat treat, and I think it goes to show that you don't have to have thousands of dollars of equipment to forge and heat treat a semi-decent product. If you're using a low alloy steel or a simple carbon steel, like 5160 or 1095, 1084, 1075, all of those you should be able to heat treat and temper pretty successfully without having to put a lot of money into heat treating equipment. And that's one thing I've tried to show on this channel is you don't need to have the latest and greatest in forging equipment and blacksmithing equipment to put out a good product. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the content, like and subscribe and share, and we'll see you next time.